Exclamation, did you know that just one type of nut, the kind you might be eating every day thinking it's healthy, could actually damage your liver, raise your blood pressure, mess with your memory, and even become toxic to your nervous system if you're not careful? Exclamation, all it takes is one wrong nut, and you could quietly undo the immune strength it's taken you decades to build. Sounds a bit hard to believe, right? But this isn't some internet myth or health rumor floating around. These are facts backed by leading medical institutions. One long-term study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, and I'm talking about 20 years of data, found that while some nuts can lower heart disease risk by up to 30%, others, when eaten the wrong way, may increase liver stress, trigger inflammation, and impact nerve function. Harvard Medical School once cautioned, many people assume all nuts are good, but the truth is, certain nuts can throw off your nutrient balance, raise bad cholesterol, and make chronic inflammation worse, especially in older adults. And according to Mayo Clinic, folks over 60 often experience a decline in their body's ability to detox properly. So if you're eating nuts high in aflatoxins, oxalates, or excess carbs, they can quietly harm your liver, increase your risk of kidney stones, or cause blood sugar to spiral out of control if eaten regularly. Now listen, I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because I've seen it, too many times. One of my patients, Eleanor, age 71, was doing all the right things. She walked every morning, watched what she ate, swapped chips for nuts like most health-conscious people do. But over time, she started feeling tired, bloated, a little forgetful, and then one day she fainted. Dangerous blood sugar drop. We traced it back to her daily handful of cashews. They may look innocent, but each ounce packs nearly 9 grams of carbohydrates, and with little fiber to slow it down, it spiked her blood sugar and then let it crash. A hidden roller coaster. What's worse, cashews are high in oxalates. And according to Cleveland Clinic, oxalates can bind to calcium and form kidney stones, especially dangerous for older adults whose kidneys aren't as efficient as they used to be. And the sad truth is, most older adults don't know this. They think nuts are good and leave it at that. Yes, some nuts can absolutely help sharpen your memory, improve your sleep, lower your blood pressure, even strengthen your bones. But others, if eaten daily and without guidance, could lead to insomnia, cholesterol spikes, joint flare-ups, digestive issues. And worst of all, they may interfere with the medications you've been faithfully taking every morning for years. Direct hit, that's why, in this video, I want to walk you through this, not from a textbook, but from the real stories of the hundreds of older adults I've worked with. Which nuts are worth eating every day as nature's own medicine? Which ones you should limit or avoid entirely, even if the label says superfood? And how to enjoy nuts the right way, in the right amount, at the right time, so they help you stay strong, sharp, and independent as you age. Brain, if you're over 50, if you're on blood pressure meds, cholesterol pills, thyroid support, or managing diabetes, then this video could help you prevent a serious complication with just one small change, starting today. Let me tell you a story, something real, something that could happen to anyone. Not long ago, I had a patient named Eleanor. She was 71, and if you saw her walking down the street, you'd probably think, now that's someone who really takes care of herself. Every morning, she went for a walk. She didn't drink soda, never touched salty or sweet snacks, and she always had a little pouch of nuts in her coat pocket, just like the wellness articles tell us to do. And I get it. We've all heard the good things about nuts: heart-healthy fats, antioxidants, protein, fiber. They're often called superfoods, right? And truth be told, many nuts are incredibly good for you if you choose the right ones and eat them the right way. But here's the thing no one tells you. That shiny superfood label, it can become a trap, a sweet, well-meaning trap, but a trap nonetheless. Eleanor started feeling off. Nothing dramatic at first, just a general fog, a bit of fatigue. She told me, "Doctor, I don't feel like myself anymore. I eat clean, I walk, I'm not stressed, but something's off. I feel bloated, my digestion is weird, and my memory is getting fuzzy." At first, I thought maybe it was sleep-related or a bit of gut imbalance. But then she fainted, right there in the middle of a grocery store. Severe hypoglycemia, her blood sugar had crashed. After running tests, digging deeper, we found the culprit. And it wasn't some big, scary disease, it was cashews. Cashews, that innocent little nut found in most trail mix bags, has a lesser-known trait. It packs about 9 grams of carbs per ounce and only 1 gram of fiber. That means your blood sugar can spike quickly and then crash just as fast if you don't pair it with protein or healthy fats. For folks over 50, especially those with insulin resistance or taking meds that affect blood sugar, this can be risky. Cleveland Clinic points out that as we age, our bodies become less responsive to insulin and slower at metabolizing carbs. So those hidden carbs, like the ones in cashews, can cause bigger swings in blood sugar than they would in someone younger. Have you ever felt that way? You're eating right, you're moving your body, you're doing what the doctor said. But something inside feels off. You're tired, mentally foggy, gassy, bloated, and you can't figure out why. Here's what I want you to remember: just because something has a healthy label doesn't mean it's right for you. Especially after 50, when your body starts whispering new messages. Messages that blogs and diet fads don't always hear. I've seen many people like Eleanor. They switch from chips to nuts. They think they've made a great change. But what they don't know is, some nuts lower blood pressure, others raise bad cholesterol. Some support memory, others contain compounds that stress the liver. Some help you sleep deeper, others may disrupt your sleep if eaten at the wrong time. Some strengthen bones, others can mess with your mineral balance if eaten too often. We can't just toss all nuts into one basket and call them healthy. Because health doesn't come from vague trends. It comes from knowing what your body needs and what it needs to avoid. Now I want you to picture something. Nuts may be small, just a handful, but they're concentrated foods. Each gram is loaded with energy, fats, minerals. Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health explains that nuts are calorie-dense and easy to overeat if you're not mindful. And for people managing blood sugar or cholesterol, that can quickly become a problem. So yes, nuts can be incredibly beneficial, but only if you understand them. Otherwise, you might unknowingly tip your body out of balance. Eleanor wasn't careless, she just didn't know. She didn't realize cashews could spike blood sugar, or that they're high in oxalates, which, according to Mayo Clinic, can bind with calcium in your body and form kidney stones, especially in people with aging kidneys. The saddest part: no one warned her. No one told her some nuts need strict portion control. No one explained that your medications, your age, your metabolism, they all affect how your body reacts to each type of nut. That's why I'm making this video, because I want you, as someone entering the most valuable chapter of life, to look at nuts with wiser eyes. Nuts can be your ally, but only if you know which ones are true friends, and which ones are only helpful in certain situations. In the next part, I'll show you exactly which nuts to avoid if you want to protect your heart, liver, and memory, and which ones you should keep in your kitchen a little bit each day, like nature's own multivitamin. We'll get to that soon, but before we move on, I want to leave you with one simple question. Are you eating the right way, or just eating what you believe is right? Now you might be asking, so doctor, which nuts are the problem? Which ones should I avoid? That's exactly what we're going to talk about now. And before we dive in, let me be very clear. I'm not here to make you afraid of nuts. I'm here to help you choose with awareness. Many nuts aren't bad. They're just not a great fit for the aging body, especially if you're on medications or dealing with a chronic condition. Let me put it this way. Your body at 50 or 60 isn't the same as it was at 30 or 40. It's more like a beautifully built timepiece, one that's run faithfully for over half a century. But just like a fine watch, even a small misalignment can throw off the entire mechanism inside. And that's why there are certain nuts I often tell my older patients. If you're over 50, be careful with these. Let's start with the most common one, peanuts. Now here's something surprising. Peanuts aren't actually tree nuts. They're legumes. And because they grow underground, they're prone to mold, especially a kind called Aspergillus flavus, which produces a toxin called aflatoxin. According to Cleveland Clinic, aflatoxin is a liver-damaging toxin, especially risky if you have existing liver issues, take statins, or your body's detox system has slowed with age. WebMD cites studies showing that even low, long-term exposure to aflatoxins can impair liver function and weaken immunity. And most people over 60 don't even realize this is happening. One of my patients, a 68-year-old gentleman, used to eat 2 tablespoons of organic peanut butter every night to help him sleep. After about a year, his liver enzymes started to spike. We ruled out alcohol, medications, and other causes, and the only thing left was that one nightly healthy habit. Then there's cashews, which I mentioned earlier. They might look harmless, but they're high in carbohydrates, about 9 g of carbs per ounce, with very little fiber. That's a recipe for blood sugar spikes followed by crashes, dangerous for anyone pre-diabetic or on glucose-lowering medications. And here's another concern. Mayo Clinic notes that cashews are rich in oxalates, a compound that can crystallize in the kidneys, especially if you're not well hydrated or already have a history of kidney stones. I once had a patient, Sylvia, 65 years old. No major health issues, just some occasional back pain. After 2 years of eating healthy with cashews, she ended up being diagnosed with calcium oxalate kidney stones. And she had no idea she'd been slowly feeding that stone every single day. Let's talk about macadamia nuts next. They're marketed as rich, buttery, luxurious, and they are. But here's what Harvard Health tells us. Just 10 to 12 macadamia nuts carry around 200 calories, most of which come from saturated fat, the kind that can raise LDL, bad, cholesterol if consumed regularly. For folks on statins or with a heart condition, that's not a wise choice. And if you have gallbladder issues, even silent ones, Cleveland Clinic warns that high-fat meals can trigger gallbladder spasms and pain. Macadamia nuts, because of their fat content, often trigger those gallbladder attacks, and most people never make the connection between their discomfort and that tiny handful of nuts. Now let's talk about pine nuts. I used to think pine nuts were harmless, until I came across a strange phenomenon called pine mouth syndrome. The NIH, National Institutes of Health, describes this as a metallic taste that can develop 1-3 days after eating pine nuts and last for days, ruining your sense of taste and appetite. For older adults who already struggle with low appetite, this can lead to unintentional weight loss. And because they're small and slippery, pine nuts are a choking risk, especially for people with dry mouth or swallowing issues. Mayo Clinic reminds us that dry mouth is a common side effect of blood pressure meds, antidepressants, and diuretics, medications many seniors take every day. Then there are sunflower seeds. They look friendly, right? But they're loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. According to Harvard Health, unless you're balancing those omega-6s with omega-3s from sources like fatty fish or flax seeds, too much omega-6 promotes inflammation, the root of arthritis, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's. And finally, the one I warn about the most, horse chestnuts. They're often confused with edible chestnuts, but they contain esculin, a toxic compound that can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, even seizures if eaten. And sadly, not everyone knows the difference. I treated an elderly patient who had eaten them by mistake, bought at a local market, thinking they were roasted chestnuts, but they were. She ended up in the ER with poisoning. So you see, it's just a few small nuts a day. But if you choose the wrong ones, they can quietly chip away at your health over months, even years. I'm not telling you this to make you afraid. I'm telling you so you can choose wisely from a place of understanding. In the next section, I'll show you the nuts that are truly good for older adults. The ones that help you sleep deeper, think clearer. The ones that strengthen bones, protect your heart, and stabilize your blood sugar. And how to weave them into your daily life in a way that's simple, gentle, and effective. We'll get to all of that right after this. Now that we've uncovered the nuts that may be working against your health, let's step into a brighter corner, a place I like to call the home of the tiny doctors. Because the truth is, if you choose wisely, these small, humble nuts can do what even medications sometimes cannot. No side effects, no prescriptions, no dependency. All they ask is that you remember them a handful each day, as part of a life well lived. Let's begin with one of my favorite recommendations for breakfast, almonds. Just 1 ounce of almonds, about 23 nuts, gives you nearly 100 mg of calcium. That's about a quarter of a glass of milk. But more importantly, almonds are also rich in magnesium, a mineral that's often silently missing in older adults. According to Harvard Health Publishing, magnesium is key for guiding calcium to the right places, your bones and teeth, instead of letting it build up in blood vessels, where it can cause trouble. Think of magnesium as the steering wheel for calcium. Without it, calcium can drive off the road. I once had a patient, Lynn, age 66, who took calcium supplements daily to prevent osteoporosis. But after a year, her bone density didn't improve much, while her blood calcium levels went up. So I asked her to switch to a handful of almonds in the morning and reduce her supplement dose. Just 6 months later, her bone scans showed real progress with no side effects. Almonds also contain natural vitamin E and flavonoids in the skin, a powerful antioxidant duo. Mayo Clinic notes that vitamin E helps protect cells from oxidative stress, one of the main drivers of memory loss, joint inflammation, and premature aging in people over 60. Now let's move to a nut that looks like a miniature brain, walnuts. And just like their shape, walnuts are excellent for your brain. Research from Tufts University found that older adults who consumed about 1 ounce of walnuts daily maintained faster processing speed and sharper thinking, compared to those who didn't. Why? Walnuts are rich in omega-3 ALA, a type of healthy fat that keeps your brain cell membranes soft and flexible, helping nerve cells talk to each other more efficiently. What I love most is that walnuts contain polyphenols, anti-inflammatory compounds that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier. According to Cleveland Clinic, very few nutrients can do this. Once inside, polyphenols help reduce inflammation inside brain tissue, where many forms of dementia begin. I'll never forget a patient of mine, Frank, 72, a retired history teacher with a family history of Alzheimer's. He came to me quietly scared. He said, "Doc, I've started forgetting the names of my old students. We didn't start with pills. We started with 7 walnuts each morning, plus better sleep habits and gentle exercise." A year later, he walked back into my office, brighter eyes, lighter steps. He smiled and said, "I'm not afraid of my memory anymore." Next, let's talk about one of the most balanced nuts out there, pistachios. Not as famous as almonds or walnuts, but I truly love them. 1 ounce of pistachios has about 285 mg of potassium, more than a small banana. According to Mayo Clinic, potassium helps balance sodium in your body, naturally lowering blood pressure. Incredibly helpful for anyone managing hypertension or prehypertension. Pistachios are also rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that protect the eyes. The National Eye Institute says these compounds can help reduce the risk of macular degeneration, the one cause of blindness in adults over 65. Now let's talk about a special nut. I call it the living pill, the Brazil nut. Just one Brazil nut contains about 96 mcg of selenium, your entire daily need in one bite. NIH, National Institutes of Health, states that selenium supports thyroid health, strengthens immunity, and protects nerve cells from oxidative damage. But here's the key: too much selenium is toxic. That's why I always tell my patients, 1 Brazil nut per day, no more, eat it like a pill. If you eat 3 or 4 every day for a week, you might feel nausea, hair thinning, stomach aches, early signs of selenium toxicity, well documented by Mayo Clinic. Next, the tiny powerhouse, flax seeds, small but mighty, especially for folks over 50. Flax seeds are packed with plant-based omega-3s, ALA, soluble fiber, and lignans, natural compounds that help balance hormones. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that postmenopausal women who consumed flax regularly had lower risk of breast cancer and improved symptoms like hot flashes and mood swings. Then there's the superstar of hydration and gut health, chia seeds. They absorb up to 10-12 times their weight in water, forming a gel in your digestive tract that promotes fullness, balances blood sugar, and nourishes healthy gut bacteria. Rich in fiber and omega-3s, they blend easily into smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt, simple and versatile for any age. I often tell patients new to nuts, start with 1 tablespoon of chia in the morning. You'll notice the difference in just 2 weeks. And for those who enjoy something rich and soothing, try hazelnuts. They're packed with vitamin E, folate, and manganese, great for memory, brain function, and antioxidant support. 1 ounce per day is delicious and calming, especially in the afternoon or evening when your nerves could use a little comfort. So you see, you don't need a dozen different nuts. Just 5 to 7 well-chosen ones, eaten the right way in the right amounts, and they'll walk with you each day like quiet healers. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper. How these nuts affect your memory, sleep, bones, blood pressure, and how to build your own nut-based nutrition strategy without stress, without confusion, but with steady, real results after 50. I'll see you in the next chapter. I want you to pause for a moment and think about something simple. When was the last time you felt truly sharp, focused, and mentally clear? How about the last deep, uninterrupted night of sleep when you didn't wake up once? Or the last time you ate something simple, yet felt like your body was recharged, not just full? I'm not asking these questions to make you doubt yourself. I'm asking so you can start listening to your body more closely. Because after 50, your body starts to speak a new language. It's subtle, sometimes it sounds like a little fogginess in your head, a light night of sleep, or just that feeling of not wanting to get out of bed in the morning. And the miracle, I believe, is this. Sometimes a small change in your daily food choices can rewrite the meaning behind those signals. I had a patient once, Daniel, 74, a retired teacher who loved books, teaching long conversations with former students. But when he came to see me, he said, "Doctor, I can't read for long anymore. My eyes are fine, but it's like my brain just can't stay connected." We ruled out the major medical causes. Then we made some small lifestyle shifts. No pills, no heavy interventions, just a handful of walnuts in the morning, 1 tablespoon of flax seeds with lunch, and a little chia in the evening. 90 days later, Daniel came back with a very different smile. He told me, "I finished the book I'd put down last summer, and I remember every chapter. Now, I'm not saying these nuts are magic. What I am saying is, your brain, no matter your age, can still be nourished. And nuts, used properly, are a powerful source of that nourishment. Did you know that omega-3 ALA in walnuts doesn't just keep brain cell membranes flexible? It also plays a key role in how those cells communicate. According to Harvard Health Publishing, a diet rich in omega-3s is linked to lower risk of dementia and a slower rate of age-related cognitive decline. And here's something that might surprise you. Some nuts, like pistachios and walnuts, contain natural melatonin. Melatonin, as you may know, is the hormone that regulates your sleep-wake cycle. As we age, our body's melatonin production naturally drops, leading to shorter sleep, trouble falling asleep, or waking up in the middle of the night. But according to Mayo Clinic, getting a little extra melatonin through your diet, even just a small amount from walnuts, can support your body's natural rhythm without needing sleeping pills. Another patient of mine, Jeanette, 69, had struggled with sleep for years. She tried herbal teas, meditation, even prescription medication. But the one thing that finally helped her sleep, in her own words, was eating 6 or 7 walnuts each night before bed, with a warm glass of water. Not because she felt full, but because her brain got what it needed: healthy fats, antioxidants, and a touch of melatonin. Now let's talk about your heart. Many heart patients I meet have spent years avoiding all fats, sometimes to an extreme. But the truth is, your heart still needs certain fats, especially after 50, when arteries stiffen and cholesterol becomes harder to manage. According to Cleveland Clinic, the monounsaturated fats found in almonds, hazelnuts, and pistachios can help lower bad cholesterol, LDL, while increasing the good kind, HDL. One of the most important goals in heart disease prevention. I often tell my patients, we can't make your heart feel 30 again, but we can help it beat more smoothly, more steadily, like a clock that's been well oiled. And that oil comes from these healthy fats in nuts. And what about your bones? Many people think it's all about calcium from milk, but magnesium is actually the key player in moving calcium into your bones. Without enough magnesium, calcium can end up where it doesn't belong, like your arteries or kidneys. Mayo Clinic confirms this. So where do you find magnesium? In almonds, in flax seeds, in chia seeds. And here's something I've seen myself, after reviewing the records of over 200 patients above age 65. I noticed that those who had a small daily nut habit, even just a few, had more stable cholesterol, better sleep, and fewer complaints of memory issues or joint pain than those who didn't. Of course, nuts aren't a miracle cure, but they are what I call quiet builders. They don't give you overnight results, but if you walk with them daily, over weeks, months, seasons, you'll see the difference. Like an old friend who doesn't talk much, doesn't rush, but shows up every day, helping you live not just longer, but more clearly. In the next part, I'll walk you through how to bring these good nuts into your daily life, easily without overwhelm, from how to choose and store them, to the best times to eat them based on your health conditions. You don't have to do it all at once. We'll take it one small, steady step at a time. By now, you know which nuts are helpful and which ones to approach with caution. But maybe you're still wondering, so how exactly should I eat them? How much is enough? And how do I turn this into a habit without feeling overwhelmed? I get it, because I've had many patients. They nodded through our conversation, took notes, felt inspired, but once they got home, they didn't know where to start. So in this part, I want to bring you back to simplicity. No 7-day meal plans, no detox routines, just a few small, doable principles. And if you stick to them, your body will quietly thank you day after day. I call this white heavy check mark, the Sunday 3-step nut strategy. Once a week, every Sunday, take just 10 minutes. That's all. Step 1, separate the daily nuts from the occasional treats. You'll need 2 jars or 2 containers. Label them clearly, Daily healing nuts. These include almonds, walnuts, pistachios, chia seeds, flax seeds, hazelnuts, and just one Brazil nut. These are your natural daily supplements, tiny powerhouses to support your brain, heart, sleep, and bones. Occasional enjoyment nuts. These include peanuts, cashews, macadamias, pine nuts, salted sunflower seeds, and never horse chestnuts. They're toxic. You don't have to ban these entirely, but they shouldn't be part of your everyday routine. Use them mindfully and in moderation. Step 2. Use a small bowl, never eat straight from the bag. I've seen too many people overdo it with nuts. They grab a bag and think, just a handful. But here's the truth. A handful of macadamias, that's 200 calories. A handful of walnuts, enough fat for a full meal. And just 2 Brazil nuts can exceed your daily selenium limit, so always use a small bowl or portion trays. Pre-pack 1-ounce servings, about 28-30 g, into small zip bags or snack containers for the week. That way, when you're hungry, you just grab and go, no guesswork, no overeating. Step 3. Store them smart, because nuts age, just like we do. Healthy fats in nuts are fragile. When exposed to heat, light, or moisture, they go rancid, creating off flavors and harmful compounds. Walnuts, Brazil nuts, flax seeds, all rich in unsaturated fats, can oxidize quickly at room temperature. And according to Cleveland Clinic, oxidized fats can worsen chronic inflammation, especially in older adults. So, always store nuts in sealed jars in the refrigerator, especially the oil-rich ones. Don't buy large quantities unless you use them often. Buy enough for just 3-4 weeks at a time. If your nuts smell sour, bitter, or stale, throw them out. Your body deserves better. Mantelpiece, what's the best time to eat nuts? Great question, and here's what I've seen work best in clinical practice. Walnuts, chia, flax seeds, morning is ideal. They support brain clarity and stable blood sugar through the day. Brazil nut, also best in the morning after a light bite. Never on an empty stomach. Just 1 nut per day like a supplement. Pistachios, almonds, hazelnuts, mid-morning or mid-afternoon snack. They curb cravings better than cookies or crackers. Walnuts, again. If you struggle with sleep, try a few in the evening. Their natural melatonin can gently support your sleep cycle. Counterclockwise arrows button a few key precautions from a medical perspective. If you're on blood thinners like warfarin, be mindful with high vitamin K nuts like hazelnuts. Always talk to your doctor. If you're being treated for thyroid issues, space your Brazil nut away from your levothyroxine dose, and don't exceed 1 per day. If you have a history of kidney stones, limit cashews and sunflower seeds. Both are high in oxalates. Now I know this might sound like a lot, but trust me, after 1 or 2 weeks of practice, it becomes as easy as your morning cup of tea, and your body will start to thank you. One of my patients, Raymond, 76, once told me, "At first I thought this was a bit too much, but after 3 months I didn't crave salty snacks anymore. My stomach felt lighter, I slept better, and I even started remembering the names of my new neighbors." You see, just a few nuts a day, at the right time, in the right way, could be the key to staying sharp, light, and in control of your own body. In the next part, I'll walk you through how to actually measure your progress. How do you know if nuts are helping you? What are the subtle signs that you need to adjust? And how do you turn this into a lifelong, joyful health habit, not just a phase? We'll take it one thoughtful step at a time, together. I often say this to my older patients. You don't need a blood test to know you're becoming healthier. Your body is always whispering to you through your breath, your sleep, your morning energy, and even your hunger. The real question is, are you listening? Once you start adding the right kinds of nuts to your daily routine, I want you to watch your body, not with pressure, not with judgment, just with a gentle kind of awareness. Here are the signs I've seen time and again in my patients. Clear signals that their bodies are slowly healing, simply from eating nuts the right way. Magnifying glass tilted left 1. You start sleeping deeper and wake up without that heavy head feeling. One of the first changes you might notice is better sleep. Not necessarily more sleep, but more natural, better aligned sleep. You drift off easier, you toss and turn less. You stop waking up in the middle of the night with your heart racing or that anxious, startled feeling. I remember one woman, 67 years old, who struggled with insomnia after losing her husband. She hadn't slept through a full night in almost a year. After I suggested 5-6 walnuts before bed and a bit of chia seeds in her morning oatmeal. Just 2 weeks later, she called and simply said, "Doctor, I slept all the way till 4 a.m. for the first time." According to Mayo Clinic, The natural melatonin and healthy fats found in walnuts, pistachios, and flax seeds can help reset your sleep cycle, especially after age 55, when melatonin naturally starts to decline. Brain 2, your memory and focus quietly start to come back. No, you won't suddenly remember everything like you did at 25, but you will stop forgetting why you walked into a room. You'll remember names at the grocery store. You'll read longer and understand deeper. That's a sign your brain is being nourished by the right kinds of fats and antioxidants. Harvard Health Publishing confirms that omega-3 ALA found in walnuts and flax seeds, along with vitamin E in almonds and hazelnuts, helps protect neurons from oxidative damage, improving memory and processing speed. If you've been waking up with that mental fog lately, ask yourself, are you feeding your brain enough of the right kinds of nuts? Red 3, your blood pressure and cholesterol start to settle without needing more medication. Many patients tell me, "Doc, I take my meds, but my blood pressure is still up and down." But after we adjust their diet, add in pistachios, almonds, a bit of chia, reduce salt, cut back on saturated fats, something remarkable happens, same meds. But now their blood pressure becomes more stable, heart rate smooths out, LDL cholesterol drops a little, HDL climbs a little, and suddenly the doctor is smiling. Why? Because good nuts bring in monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, soluble fiber, potassium, magnesium, all of which help regulate blood pressure and lipids, per WebMD and Cleveland Clinic. If your headaches ease up, your heart feels calmer, or your doctor lowers your dosage, it might just be those little handfuls of nuts doing their quiet magic. 4, your digestion gets easier, your belly feels lighter, your blood sugar steadies. Most people don't realize this. Nuts are packed with natural fiber and your gut loves it. Just a tablespoon of chia or flax seeds in the morning, and you might notice regular, smooth, pain-free bowel movements. Even more when you eat protein and fat-rich nuts, like almonds or pistachios with your meals, they slow down how fast your body absorbs carbs. That means your blood sugar won't spike like a roller coaster. This mechanism has been clearly documented in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. If you take diabetes meds or have insulin resistance, try testing your blood sugar 1-2 hours after eating, both with and without nuts. You'll see the difference. Direct hit, how do you track these changes? Here's what I usually suggest. Keep a very simple health notebook. Just 4 lines a day, 1 which nut you ate and at what time. 2, how your body felt 2 hours later, full, light, sleepy, sharp. 3, how you slept that night, easy to fall asleep, deep, woke up often, for your mood calm, irritable, clear-headed, tired. After 2-3 weeks, you'll have your own personal health map, a clear pattern of which nuts your body thrives on. You don't need to be a scientist, just honest with how you feel. And if you begin to notice, you fall asleep easier, your memory gets clearer, you're regular in the bathroom, your blood pressure stays steady, you crave less junk food and wake up less tired, then congratulations, your body is thanking you in the quiet language of healing. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is the reward of every small, right choice you make, 1 nut at a time every day. In the next part, connecting the dots, how to make nut eating a natural part of your long-term wellness plan. No rigid rules, no fancy routines, just a wiser way to grow older together with your body. Stay with me. Clapperboard conclusion. Choosing the right nut could be the beginning of a healthier life. You've stayed with me through this entire journey. And if you're still here, still listening all the way to the very end, I believe it's not just because of the science or some brand new discovery I mentioned. It's probably because, deep down, you're searching for something very real. A way to live healthier without feeling overwhelmed. To live fully while still feeling free. Together, we've explored how some tiny little nuts can support memory, calm your sleep, steady your heartbeat, and protect your bones. And also, how a few seemingly harmless nuts could silently affect your liver, spike your blood sugar, or interfere with your medications. But we didn't just learn how to eat nuts. We learned to listen to our bodies again, with honesty, with kindness, and with patience. We learned how to take care of ourselves, not out of fear, but out of respect for this life that's still here, still ours. Have you noticed this? Just one small change in what you eat. And suddenly, your morning feels a little lighter, just by picking the right kind of nut. Those long, restless nights show up less often. Just by understanding your own body, you no longer feel like you have to rely on pills to feel okay. And if you've started to feel even just a little of that, then I want to say congratulations. Because that means you're waking up, not just in the morning, but to your own well-being. And if today you start by choosing just one good nut, then maybe a month from now, or 3 months from now, you'll notice you're living in a body that feels lighter, a mind that's clearer, and sleep that's finally, peacefully deep. I'm not here to promise overnight change, but I can tell you this as a doctor, as someone who's taken care of aging parents, and as someone who's now in his 60s. Good health is something we plant, bit by bit, day by day. And one of the simplest places to begin is choosing the right nut for your breakfast. Handshake, if you're still watching, I want to thank you, not just for trusting me, but for making a quiet, powerful commitment to your own health. Because if it weren't for you, and for others your age who are willing to learn and care, then this mission of mine wouldn't have much meaning. Party Popper, I celebrate you for finding something valuable in these lessons today. And you can start simple: a small bowl of walnuts tomorrow morning, a little jar labeled with the right kinds of nuts for daily use, a sticky note on your fridge: today I choose a healing nut. And if after a few weeks you feel like you're sleeping better, remembering more, or just feeling better in your skin, please share that in the comments below. I read every one of them, and I treasure every story you share. Adult medical, a quick but important note. If you're on medication, have chronic health conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart disease, or if you suspect your body is reacting differently, please talk to your doctor before making major dietary changes. What I share is to help you understand and take charge of your health, but it does not replace personalized medical advice. If this video was helpful to you, please hit subscribe to join our community here at Vigor Without Age, and share it with someone you love, your children, your friends, your neighbors, anyone looking for a gentler, wiser way to stay healthy. Leave me a few words below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I wish you, my dear older friend on the other side of this screen, health, peace, joy, and all the quiet blessings life still has in store for you. Let's begin today with one small handful of nuts. Who knows? It might just be the start of something beautiful.